Okay, good evening everyone. I want you to know that each one of you is a hero. To come in such thunders and so much rain, that's really a sacrifice. And Bezrat Hashem, I hope not to disappoint you today. The last Shabbat we read Parashat Noach. And it's very, very interesting parasha. If you read the parasha, I once made a person religious just by learning Parashat Noach with him. No proofs. At that time, I didn't know that much proofs. I'm talking like 15 years ago. It happened to be my cousin. He was working in a store in Manhattan, selling ladies' clothing, working 7 days a week. I invited him for Shabbat. It worked out that he had to come to me because he couldn't go back all the way to where he used to live in Jersey, transportation, I don't know what was. So he had to come. All I could do with him is learn this parasha with Rashi. And he read the parasha, how the world was destroyed, how it's all started. We went over this. He said to himself, how the Jews forgot the Torah, he says. Because of learning in a secular school, he was very fascinated. He said to me, I don't understand, how come nobody learns this? How it's so clear. And that was enough for him. He read this parasha, Baruch Hashem. Today is, by now he's 14 years learning Torah, more than 12 hours a day, since that day. 14 years. He lives in Yerushalayim, he moved to Yerushalayim, got married. No, that's what the Torah says, יש אדם קונה עולמו ברגע אחד. Sometimes a person wins not the lottery, the spiritual lottery. Lotto in this world most of the time bring problems. In Israel, I don't know, in America, they made a survey from all the people who ever won any prize, Lotto, Toto, all these games that they have. Only 2 of them said that he did good to them. Everybody either got divorced, got all kinds of problems. It destroyed them. They had simple life before. Their eyes opened up, and the rest is history. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about this parasha, but I didn't come to speak about the parasha here today. I just want to highlight one point and start the lecture with this. We have in our time a very serious sickness to our society. Jews and non-Jews. Mainly non-Jews, but also plenty of Jews. What is the disease? What's the sickness? Addictions. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, all kinds of things like that. And you see that it used to be people that are 30, 40, 50. No. Today, kids, 12, 13, 14, that's it. It became a habit. That's what they do. They go to get drunk. And later drugs. And of course, in the beginning, they tell you, it's only smoking. It's not serious drugs. In some states, it's legal. But my answer to these fools are, everyone who is addicted to heroin and cocaine started with smoking. What do you think? They went right away to this? It always starts with light one. Then the body needs more. And the rest is a disaster. Where is the first time in the Torah we find the case of a person who almost lost his life because of alcohol? Noach, this parasha. What's the story? We know very well that every mitzvah in Judaism is related somehow to wine. Right? Kiddush, wine. Havdalah, wine. Marriage, wine. Brit Milah, wine. Everything is wine, everything. Sheva brachot, wine. Can you find one mitzvah that we do on a drink that it's not wine? I never saw a mitzvah on apple juice or orange juice or milk. Everything wine. What's the secret? Why, they like the color? Cranberry juice looks just as good. It's not the secret. The secret is that the etz, the tree that Adam made his first sin because of that tree, it's a geffen. Geffen, according to Judaism, not like the Goyim's cartoon, they put an apple. It was the geffen, the grape tree. And what's the significance of the grape? This is the only tree that, first of all, is very humble. It's like a bush. It's not so high, not tall. It's not really a tree. It's very soft. Not only that, the only fruit that you cannot mix with any other fruit, the seeds, and create a new kind, it's the geffen, the grape. Why the nation of Israel is compared to geffen? Same thing God told the Jews, you cannot mix with any other nation. Same thing, the grape, since it symbolizes the nation of Israel, cannot mix with anything else. Also, when you start growing grape, in the beginning it's nothing. You have a few seeds in the ground. Then it's like flowers. It's very soft in the beginning. You want it to climb, you need to put something like a stick. You take a stick and stick it in the ground. And then slowly it becomes a tree. It's growing on that stick, and then if you have a fence or anything else, it's hold to it. What's the secret here? When you put a dead piece of wood, this is a dead tree, right? You cut a piece from the tree. Once you cut it, it's dead. It doesn't have life anymore. The only way to succeed, Hashem is trying to teach us a message here. What's the secret? The only way to succeed in life is to rely on those who passed away already, our sages. The live tree, without the help of the dead tree, cannot move anywhere. It must hold to it. Without following Chazal, the Torah, our sages that are already 2,000 years in heaven, we have nothing in this life. We couldn't understand one word of the Torah, especially in this generation. Imagine the Torah was given 3,320 years ago. Let's say it was hidden somewhere. Nobody ever saw it. And somebody would discover it today. Discover the Torah. You don't have to be a genius. It takes you one day to realize that this book can never be written by a person. You see right away, it's divine. From that moment on, we would try to understand what God wants from us. More than 80-90% of that, we have no idea what to do. It's very complicated. If you see the brilliance of these Chachamim, how they figure out everything, how they put it together, all these beautiful things in the Gemara, if you ever learn Gemara, you understand what I'm talking about. You see that each one of them was a giant. It wasn't a regular genius like Albert Einstein or all the other geniuses in our time. They are like monkeys compared to any one of these rabbis that his name is mentioned in the Talmud, with all due respect. And Einstein wasn't just a genius, he was an extraordinary genius. There's many smart scientists in the world, but that he's like the shining diamond of science. And still, with the respect that he deserves, is nothing to compare between his brilliance to one of the Chachamim appears in the Talmud. Even he himself would hide from embarrassment when he see Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai or all these legendary names that you see in the Tanakh, all the prophets. It's nothing to compare. You see, it's amazing, over the years learning, every time you discover something you didn't know about, it's like an ocean. You find another thing and another thing. It's never ends. There's always new discoveries. I can't forget the day that I found out that only 150 years ago there was a Chacham. His name was Rabbi Akiva Iger. 6-7 generations ago. That's it. It's like the grandfather of our grandfather. That's the generation. That's it. That he knew the entire Talmud word by heart. Thousands of pages. Very difficult. Everything by heart. For sure. How do I know? I wasn't a student 150 years ago. At least not I remember. But how do I know? Very simple. He writes comments in his Gemara while he was learning. So when you learn, today you are in this page. And they learn very, very deep. They don't just read it like a newspaper, like some of us do. We imagine that we understand sometimes. No, better than nothing. At least you have a good feeling. Oh, I learned Gemara. No, fine. They learn. They dig and go inside another layer and another layer and another layer and compare it with other pages and put it's like a puzzle. One detail. It's like a person who plays chess is already thinking 30 steps ahead. It's not so simple to think 30 steps ahead. Because you have to think, if I move here, what's all the options of my opponent, what is he going to do? He can either do this, then I will have to do this and this and this. If he will do this, I will have to do this and this and that. If he will do... Now you have hundreds of moves in your head. The sharper your brain is, the better chess player you are. And still, it's like monkey business compared to the Talmud. So it's like an ocean. There's no way to understand. People think, it's an halacha tradition. They don't understand. Once you go and a few years you learn, you begin to understand how far you are from understanding their brilliance. It's nothing. There's no way to describe it in words. So anyway, why am I telling you this? Every time he learned a topic in the Talmud, he was writing an aside in his Gemara how many times it appears in the entire Talmud. Every page, where, like it's talking about this topic, it appears in that Masechet, and in this Masechet, and in that Masechet, and he writes, by the way, he didn't even know that one day will become a famous book, Rabbi Akiva Iger on the Talmud. Was writing to himself comments. Now, if you don't know the whole Talmud by heart, that means every time you turn a page, you have a new topic, let's say. Now you have to go more than 5,000 pages and search if it appears in another page. So you have to go 5,000 pages, read the whole Talmud. Oh, here I found it here. So let's write it down. Let's more another 300 pages. Oh, I found it again. Let's write it down. Another 400-500 pages. Oh, I found it again. And you write. So now one page, you had to go more than 5,000 pages to search if that topic appears again. Now you go to the next page, again 5,000 pages. Now you go to the next, no. So if you have more than 5,000 pages, multiply by 5,000 pages, how many pages you have? You do the math. More than 250,000 pages. And I promise you, it's very difficult to understand one page. Some people, it takes them a week to understand. You understand what we're saying here or not? So the only way to write comments like this on the side is that you don't have to waste time and turn the pages. Besides, you have to know one more thing. Yeah, please come forward. There's more people, Baruch Hashem. More brave people beat the weather. So, also one more thing. You have to remember that today we have the Talmud and the Gemara. It's basically very, very organized. It's all printed. It's all nice, equal, great pages. It's all, it's all based, you have headlines and chapters. In the old days, it wasn't like that. You had a scroll, and it was all written with a feather. It wasn't equal like today, everything beautiful lined up. It was all, it's crooked, going up and down, very difficult to understand. Now go and search without topics. We have topics, it's easy for us to go by the topics. But in the old days, it was all one scroll, like the Torah scroll, the whole Talmud, from A to Z, with the handwriting. You understand what we're talking here about? This is it. So anyway, the first case in the history, Noach is getting drunk. He's getting drunk. He's falling asleep. What's the way to get a person out of his, what do you say, drunkenness? Hangover? No. How do you get a person out of it? Let's say you need him to go back to work in an hour. And he's on the floor. No. You have to tell him in his ear that that the FBI is coming to get him now and he lost all his money in his account. From the fear, in moments he's going to start realizing what's going on. Fear is the best medicine against alcohol. You scare the person very bad, right away his brain get adjusted and overcome the problems and the influence of the alcohol. Yeah, it's been proven. There's other things to get out of it, but that's the most productive and fast medicine for a person that is in alcohol. Anyway, so what was the tragedy? Adam made the sin because of the Geffen. Okay. Noach later on, few generations later, Noach becomes drunk. His third son, Ham, is making something in his body that prevents him from having more kids. And later, Noach gets up and he realizes what happened to him. And he kills the fourth son of Ham, which means he kills his grandson. Why is cursing his grandson? Your son did it to you, not your grandson. No. Everything in the Torah is built by a routine formula, measure for measure. You made me not able to have a fourth son. Why? Because you're afraid that you have a competition about the estate, the wealth. You know, when I die, I leave to my children. You didn't want more brothers to share, right? So I'm cursing the fourth son that you have, measure for measure. But it's not only that. Who gave him the idea to come and see? Come, see what? Your father is naked, laying there, is drunk in his bed. Canaan is his fourth son. Ham has his fourth son, his name is Canaan. He had Mitzrayim, today it's Egypt. Not this Egypt, a different Egypt. That's before the Arabs took over Egypt. So Mitzrayim was a person. And then later became Pharaoh and his nation. Right? Later on, 900 years later. And then he had Put, and then he had Canaan, and then he had Cush. Cush in Hebrew, Cushi means black. Comes from the Torah, Cushi. It's not a bad word, like some people may think. It's just the way Hashem called them. This person, his name was Cush. So all his descendants called Cushim, because they came, like Canaanim, like Israelim, like Mitzrim. It's all come after the grandfather. And this is how it is. From that time, then comes the story of the flood. This was 4,200 years ago. Remember, 4,200 years ago. From that moment on until this day, the world started with 8 people. Noah and his wife, he had 3 sons and their 3 wives. 8 people started a new world. This is history. And until today. Shem, it's the founder of the Hebrews. Abraham, he came from him. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they come from Shem. Shem is the righteous son of Noah. That's why someone who doesn't like Jews, they call him anti-Semite. Right? Because in English, Shem, it's Sem. Right? Sem, anti-Semite, anti-Shemi. Oh, so now you know why this expression is like this. Okay. Then Yefet, in English, Jeff. Yefet in Hebrew means Yossi, beauty. All the Europeans that got the look, not all of them, but most of them, it's in their genes, all the beautiful colors, went to that area. The Greeks, the Italians, all this is Yefet. Cham in Hebrew means hot. Where did he go? To Africa. Look at his children. The blacks, Canaan, all the nations that are cursed in the Torah, but the Torah said that Noah cursed them. Noah, their grandfather, he cursed them. He's a righteous person, the only righteous person in the world besides Shem, his son. So 2 righteous people at that time, the whole generation. And then comes 120 years that he built the ark. Why 120 years? There was no Home Depot. Then you go to Home Depot, you bring few trucks, you buy everything ready, screws, these, drills, very easy. You bring a few guys, and they do the job. In 1 month, you finish. Remember, the size of the ark is bigger than all these giant cruise boats that you see in the ocean. It looks like a city. You can walk 5 hours inside the boat and you still didn't get to the other side. Roofs, these, tennis courts, pools. They build a city on the ocean. You put so many thousands of animals, right? You need room. You need room for their waste, food. You have to store food. But that's really why that's the reason that it was taking 120 years. That wasn't the main reason. The main reason that everybody can come and ask him, excuse me, what are you doing? What are you building this boat for? I mean, what is this, a new cruise? So he said, no, God is going to destroy all of you because you are wicked. So he told me to make this ark for me and my family that we're going to get saved. But those of you who do not repent, they drown in a flood. Everyone who passed by laughed at him. So for 120 years you work like a slave, and everyone who passed by laughed at you, everyone talks about you that you're crazy. 120 years, everyone makes fun at you, and you are the only normal person in the world. You have the truth, and everyone lives in a lie. It's just like the life of the religious people today. For every million people who walk in the street of Manhattan, here is a righteous one. You have to take a picture of him. It's rare. It's rare. Million pass by, here is a righteous one. Take a picture. One righteous out of a million. The statistic in the world is worse. Take 6.4 billion people. Divide them to 1 million. 1 million, from 13.2 million Jews, only 1 million are really keeping the mitzvot. Or trying at least. Trying to do their best. They're serious, they're learning, they're keeping Shabbat. They try to keep, they try not to steal, they try to watch their eyes and their mouth, and to be modest. They try. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes not. But really care about being righteous. Million. No, how much is a million out of 6.4 billion? It's not even 1%. Not even 1% of 1%. Now, I'm not saying there's no righteous goyim. There's plenty of righteous goyim. They keep the 7 mitzvot of Bnei Noach. They love God. So, no, add them together. The statistica maybe 1% in the world. For every 100 people, Jews and non-Jews, you will find here a righteous Jew, here is a righteous goy. You add them all together, no. And they are the only one who has the truth, and everyone who laughs, they're going to be destroyed. But not only here. To be destroyed here, big deal. 20 years more, 20 years less. It's a blink of the eye anyway, life. Before you realize it's over. All of you are young here. By the next lecture, you can be 50 already. You don't understand what's going on. I remember when I was 3 years old, they put me to watch all the woods. In Israel, you have 2 holidays that you need. All the construction sites are under attack. Kids that go in Israel, if they're not in yeshiva, what they do understand about stealing. I have no idea, little kids. So when Lag BaOmer come, right, you need wood to burn. Where you get wood? You don't have Home Depot over there to go buy pieces of cheap wood. You go to the construction site. Every construction site is under attack. After you take what you take, you have to go and bring more. So who's going to watch what you already took? You put a kid. So the kid's sitting over there. They give him 50 grams of seeds, not to be bored. And they put him to watch. I was the kid. They put me there. The guy gave me a bag. I remember it was like yesterday. It was 40 years ago. Like overnight. This is a proof that before you realize life will be over. People make plans, they bear this, that. By the time they succeed, it's already over. And what other holiday they need wood? Sukkot. There's only one problem. Sukkot, if your sukkah is stolen, you did not make the mitzvah. So how do you overcome the problem? Nobody there care about the mitzvah anyway, all these kids. They like the sukkah because all the guys get together and play backgammon and cards. Right? And drink a little bit l'chaim. But in my time, people didn't have the chutzpah of the young generation today. When I was a kid, in 8th grade, there was one kid in my school that was smoking cigarette. From hundreds of students, there were 4 8th grade. Each class in Israel, at least 30 students. So there's 120 8th grade, and 120 7th grade, and 126, there's thousands of people, more than 1,000 kids in school. Who smoke? One guy, Avi Ajinji, his name. I cannot forget his name, because they announced him as the most criminal guy in the whole city. City of 400,000 people. Everyone in my town knew, be careful from Avi Ajinji. Why? He's 14 years old, 13 years old, and he smokes cigarettes. Today, professor in this age smokes cigarettes. In front of they ask from the professor, give me fire. In my time, right away when they found out, the teacher was afraid of him. Why? He smokes cigarettes. Today, they put him the most righteous boy in town, because it's only cigarettes. Nobody knows about what's going on today. So what are the sicknesses of our youth, our children, our friends, our neighbors, cousins, whatever it is? What is it? Cigarettes, drugs, gambling, internet, Facebook, addictions. That's what it is. And that's what made them unable to open one book and read one page. They can read one page. You beg a boy, 13, 14 years, come, let's learn one page. One page. Oh, it's like you kill him. Oh, no, tomorrow, I promise you, on Shabbos. Why? He has all these colors and all this attraction. You want him to now break his head understanding Sugya in a Gemara? Come on. You understand the idea here or no? That's it. That's what's going on. Same thing like you tell a person you have to go on a diet. How many people really succeed in their diet? 1 out of 1,000,000, if any. Then they gain it back double. But most people don't. The diet works for a week. No, it looks like in the first day, since you don't eat and drink anything, so it looks like you lost 5 pounds. But it's nothing. It's only the liquids. But you're so excited. Wow, I'm 5 pounds less. It's not. It's nothing. As soon as you eat a meal, that's it. It comes all back. In reality, all this $1 trillion business, diets, this, one of them works. Really, it's depend on a person. It depends on a person. Person has to overcome his desires. And it's a very hard work. Very hard. And nobody wants to work hard. Everyone wants it easy. You have to know one thing. The life of the most poor person in the world today is better than the life of a king 200 years ago. Yeah, why? You take a poor person anywhere you know here that struggle. You know, he lives in a tiny one-studio apartment with 5 children sleeping in a living room. He has only 1 television, poor guy, not 5 like his neighbor. Only 1. They have to share, they have to fight which channel to watch. Poor guy, only 1 bathroom. Only 1. Go to the king 200 years ago. When the king wanted to go to the bathroom, he had to put soldiers around in a forest. And he has to sit by a tree and make like a dog. At 2 o'clock at night. There's no toilet paper, so they had to take grass, leaves. Think about it. Yeah, you have a beautiful crown. You live like a dog. Now you want to shower. You want to take a shower. So the servant has to bring you water and heat it with fire. No soap, shampoo, head and shoulder, this commercial, that. The poor guy, he is beautiful. He comes out, he wears his jacket. No. If the king would see the life of the most poor person today in our town, it would die to be him. And today, everyone is depressed. Go back 200 years ago, maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 had depression. Today, almost everyone depressed. The more luxurious is the life, the more depressed are the people. I was telling one kid, one great kid, much great kid, heart of gold, from a very wealthy family, from a very wealthy town, that all his friends and cousins and these, they're all wealthy kids. They never had to worry about money. They always have unlimited amount of money and nice cars. And what happened to these kids? Their parents raised them up to 20 like kings. Each one of them is a little prince. They never had to worry about, they don't have an understanding that there are people who are struggling to bring breakfast tomorrow. They don't understand that. They don't understand that 5 miles away from their town, there are people who are thinking, in 1 week they put us on the street, and I don't know, maybe we're going to go to the shelter. They have no understanding. They don't understand that there are people standing every day an hour online to get a bus, and instead of 5 minutes ride, it takes them 2 hours with all the struggling and this. They don't have this. They never saw it. All of a sudden, they become mature, and they go on their own. And they leave them like this. Some of them, the parents, continue to support them. So as long as the father is alive and is wealthy, he continues to support his son, so the son is not suffering. What happened if he got tired of feeding him already? Or he's not so wealthy as he was? He leaves this boy and he basically murdered him. He destroyed his life. Why? Because this kid, boy or girl, are not capable of achieving anything on their own. Nothing. It's like a dead body here. He cannot work. He cannot serve anyone. He cannot get orders from anyone. He cannot take a bus or kill himself. He cannot handle life. And I see now a lot of these kids, many of them, that either that their parents are not so wealthy, like in the days of the real estate was booming, so now they stuck, foreclosure, problems, they cannot give them the lifestyle they used to have, and these kids are dying. They're calling, they're depressed, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They can't get married. They cannot do anything on their own. However, the average people that raise their children to be hard-working people, you work, you're independent, you clean after yourself, you do things, you participate in the efforts in the house, you go shopping, you help the parents, you help your brothers. You know, some of the kids in this community, they support their parents since they're 17. The parents came from countries, they don't know the language, they couldn't find a good job. The kids clever, they learn English quick, they found a good job. And I know hundreds of kids here in this area that they tell me, what do you mean? If I quit work, my parents will starve. I feed my parents. The opposite. That's how independent these people are. So these people, they can survive. But all these spoiled kids, they can only survive as long as the parents put food in their mouth. That's it. Nothing other. They don't know what laundry to do. They can do laundry. They never saw it. Everything was always ready for them. What do they know? How to use a machine? You know, some of them go to yeshiva for 3 weeks. They come home with a huge bag. It takes half a ton. Why? They don't know how to press few buttons in a laundry machine and a dryer. The yeshiva has it. God forbid, I'm going to make laundry. I'm going to go to the store and buy laundry detergent. This is their life. You understand what's going on here? This is what's great about the Torah. The Torah says that the father has to teach his children how to be independent, to be able to work, to be able to do something, to find. If he's learning in yeshiva all his life, wants to be a Talmid Chacham, that's his job. It's called Torato or Manuto. His Torah is his art, is his work. Then he puts all his life into it. Most people are not like that. They don't have plans to be all their life in yeshiva. They want to go work. And that's what's going on. This is what's going on. And these poor kids, they go here, they try there, they go to yeshiva, it's too hard for them. They go to find a job, it's too hard for them. They get fired, they go... So the idea is, you want to support your children and spoil them, you have to know that it's going to be for the rest of their life. Even when they be 50, you're still going to have to support them. If you don't want to take it on yourself, don't do it when they're 4, 10, 12. From then you have to prepare them. One day you're going to be on your own. Go and work. Summertime, 2 months off from school. Go find a job. Make your own money. What all the time, give me credit card. This is what happened. I have an uncle still alive in Israel. He's a very, very wealthy person. But his kids was working harder than me. When my father didn't have 1% of their father's money in comparison, they work very hard. Every holiday, they're working in a restaurant, they're cleaning here, they're working there, the deliveries, this. It make them work much like the Arabs workers that works in the same restaurant. Since they're kids. Like we had a vacation, we used to go here and there, and we used to call them, you coming? No, we have to work. Each one of them is independent and working on his own. Yeah, he helps them a little bit in the beginning, but this is hard-working people who support their family or works with integrity and honesty, and they build up themselves. Why? Because they're ready for life. Imagine he gives them things. Of course they'll be in drugs. Why all the kids run to drugs? They want to avoid their miserable life. Drugs, alcohol, all this disaster, Now I want to tell you something. What do you think is the status of a Jew that got drunk? He went now to the restaurant, few l'chaim, vodkas, one after the other. He's going around. Then later he will vomit. So what do you think? Poor guy. A fool. Not serious, this guy. He has to mature. But you don't look at him as a wicked person, right? Let's say he's Shomer Shabbat. Let's say he gives tzedakah. Let's say he even go to yeshiva. Well, once in a while he sit with his friends and drink l'chaim. Few 15, 20 beers. He's on the floor now. You help him home. Don't drive. Be careful. No. So Baruch Hashem, he took away his car key, so he made it safely home. Would you consider a guy like this a wicked person? Just like a Mechalel Shabbos or no? No. You consider him? What do you think Hashem thinks about a person like this? Worse than Mechalel Shabbat. Worse. Why? How do I know? Maybe I'm making it up. What do you think, no? Huh? Who knows why? He's making a fool of himself. Let me explain to you why. The Torah says someone that has 2 ways to go. A short way, full of ladies, and a long way, no ladies. clean. And he went through the shortcut. He doesn't want to walk 15 minutes now to where he has to go. He wants to walk 3 minutes. But it's full of ladies, girls standing on the street, walking. It's a busy street. And he said, no, I won't sin. I'm going to watch my eyes. He closed his eyes. He walked. He made it through. He didn't know. He did not look. The Gemara say 100% Rasha. 100% wicked. Question here, wicked? If a guy like this today, we would have 1,500 people standing online to get a bracha from him. Look at him, holy guy, look. Doesn't look at any girl on the street. That's a holy guy. No? The Gemara say Rasha. Why? A Jew that is willing to take a risk to lose his olam haba, even though he didn't. He was successful. He did not make the sin in the end. But he put himself in a place that there was a serious chance to make a serious sin. That shows he has no yirat shamayim. How do you dare to take such a risk, putting yourself in such situation that you lose control of yourself and you ended up making a serious sin? That's what the Gemara says. Same thing with alcohol, drugs, same thing. If you are going to start something that you know in the next 10-15 minutes you're going to lose control of yourself. You are able to make an accident. You are able to insult people. You are able to murder someone. Thousands of cases like this we saw. And then later he said, I promise, I don't remember. Test me on a lie detector. And he really doesn't remember. What's the halacha? If a person that was drunk stabbed his friend in a restaurant and killed him. Why? He's drunk. Obviously, if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't do it. And later, he found out what he did. What's the halacha? What do you think? The Torah, according to the Torah, what's his punishment? Death. With no mercy. Same thing, like if the Prime Minister of Israel killed somebody, he's not drunk. At least most of the time. Same thing. No difference. It's fair? A guy that didn't know what he's doing, yes, my friend. Same thing when a person goes to sleep. The Gemara says, Adam mu'ad le'olam. A person is like an ox. Once the ox have a record that he hit with his horns 3 times, then in his record you change his status. Up to now he was an innocent ox, short term. If he makes a damage, the owner has to pay half of the damage, of the financial damage. Why? The owners could not predict that something like this will happen because he doesn't have a record. But once he did it already 3 times, from the 3rd time on, his status in a record of the Beit Din is changing. The black ox that belongs to Reuven Cohen is no more innocent. He is called Shor Muad, which means from now on, every damage he does, full price, no discounts. Why? You know that you already did it 3 times. It's chazakah, it's a certainty, it's just a matter of time, and you're still letting him walk free in the field? So what if he has to drink? Bring him the water to his cage. Why are you letting him go, right? So the Torah says a person is just like that ox. Same thing like this ox. Why? When he goes to sleep, let's say when he was sleeping, there was a great crystal vase next to his bed. I don't know, worth $5,000. The beautiful, thick, nice work of art. And while he was snoring, he moved, he stretched his arm and he hit that vase and it fell and broke. Now, the owner of the house comes to him and says, look, you broke it. And he said, what do you want from me? I broke it, I was sleeping. What's the punishment in Beit Din? He has to pay full price. He's responsible for full damage even if it was $1 million. Why? He's sleeping. Why? The answer is, when you go to sleep, you already know that you're going into a situation that you have no control of your body. Make sure there's nothing around you that can get damaged. Before you go to sleep, same thing getting drunk or being under influence of drug. Before you enter there, You understand that you're going to lose control. Everything you're going to do, it's your full responsibility and with no mercy. And that's when a person put himself in such situation. Over there with the ladies, the Gemara say, he took a shortcut full of in the old days, the girls on the street were not like today. You know, they're all covered like all the Fatmot today. 100%. So obviously, even if you see girls, what's the chance that Jewish girls never close their face? It's not allowed to close the face. The Arab always are busy imitating us, and sometimes they try to do it a little more to show that they are better. But it's all an illusion. You understand? Because in reality, there's one truth. Everything else is a fake. It's imitation. So here, they saw all the Jewish ladies how they dress. So now they say, you know what? We're also going to cover our face. But Hashem said, no. The face has to stay open. Because the face indicates who you are from the inside. It's big significance. In Hebrew, face called panim. Panim means inside. It shows who you are from inside. By looking at your hair, looking in your eyes, looking at your face, you can know a lot about the person. It's called chokhmat hapartzuf, the wisdom of the face. You know, Chachamim can look at your face, they know right away if you're reliable, if you are cruel, if you are angry, if you are a deceiving person, you're a liar, everything they see about you by looking at your face. People used to go to the stipler, they put their black hat to cover half of their face. Afraid because he knew they just made a sin last night, and he sees right away, and he used to throw people out of his office, out, screaming, don't let him in. You got the point here? So the idea here, so if over there, remember what I'm saying here, if over there when a person maybe will make a sin, maybe will not, already put himself in a danger, the Gemara called him wicked. Over here, when he becomes drunk, what's the question? 100% is wicked. Because over here, it's not maybe. Also, there is another thing that's called Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem. When a Jew looks like a clown, he vomits, he screams, he insults people, and later tomorrow he says, I'm sorry, I was drunk. The court has no mercy on him. He's 100% guilty, like I just said. If he murdered someone when he was drunk or under the influence of drugs, Hashem says wicked, and you have to execute him. He screams, how are you killing me? I didn't even know, I would never kill him. Your problem, my friend. Once you enter the situation that you lose control of yourself because of drugs or alcohol, you are 100% wicked, even if nothing happened. Now, many of us sitting here, Baruch Hashem, we won't dare to be Mechalel Shabbat. We won't dare to murder. We won't even dare to eat not kosher meat or anything else. We won't dare, even for money. Just drinking few shots of vodka or few beers and losing control is exactly like being Mechalel Shabbat, no different whatsoever, and people don't know it. They don't know it. And it's exactly the same thing. Hashem call you Rasha, 100%. Why? You put yourself in a situation that you have no control of your life, couldn't be more rish'ud than this. And that's the example that I gave before. And today, there's another problem. Gambling. Gambling online, offline, there, casino. Psh. You have no idea what's going on. Kids starting with that, $5 in the beginning, then 15, then 50, then 100, then all of a sudden, one day their parents come and they see all the jewelry disappeared. Why? He's addicted. He can't control himself. He already lost thousands of dollars. He's always dreaming, I'm going to bring it back. You know these people that they go to the casino, they say, I'm only taking $200. Why? That I won't lose more than $200. Somehow, they always manage to get another 1,000. Somehow, lend me, do me a favor. All of a sudden, they always have extra money. I promise you, it's the last $100. Let me just get back the 200. The Satan is a genius. What do you think? First time a person got drunk, Noach, it brought a disaster to humanity. Until today, think about it. All the black people who suffer so much in the slavery time is because of that day that Noach got drunk. Think about it. All the nations that are cursed and they have so much problems, all this starvation in Africa, all these things, this is all descendants of Ham. All of them suffering from that day that Noah got drunk. Got it? From one little thing. Adam ate from a tree. Wow. Ate from a tree. What's the reaction? What happened later on? Every man in the world has to sweat to make parnasa because of that moment. 1 minute. Sin? 5,700 years of suffering of billions of people. One woman made a sin. She ate one grape. How long was the sin? 10 seconds? 1 minute? And billions of women are screaming in hospital, what? To give birth. What? You got the point here or not? One little sin, sometimes it has a big reaction. I told you once the story of 2 Russian soldiers were drinking vodka. It was cold that night. They're drinking vodka and they are serving in a military base in Russia somewhere. And their job is to make sure nobody touch the red switch. The red switch with all kinds of protections around it. They stay with their guns. They play chess, they drink l'chaim. So one guy said to the other, what are you going to give me if I lift that switch up? 1,000 rubles. Okay, here, see. Oh, they turn it on. Nothing happened. See, I told you nothing will happen. They're fooling us. They're making us stand here. It's nonsense. An hour later, sirens, problems, bombs. What happened? They just shot 300 atomic missiles to every corner of the world. 500 million people are dead. For 100 ruble, 1,000 ruble, whatever it was. Why am I telling you this story? A Jew make a sin here. Up. By mistake, he light cigarette on Shabbat. By mistake. Well, so his wife say, hey, Moshe, Shabbat. So he said, yeah, what happened? Look, I just smoked. No, what happened? Something happened? I'm not a good person? Because I smoke? What happened? You know what happened in the upper worlds? What a distraction. You knew Kabbalah, you'd understand what you just did. The fact that you don't see the distraction doesn't mean it doesn't exist. One mistake you do with a little boy, you only see the damage 20 years later. Why? He doesn't want to get married. He has all kinds of psychological problems. You do not know that you basically did it to him 15 years ago. One time that you told him few things about himself, that's it. I know a boy that his Rebbe told him, you can hardly walk through the door, because he was heavy. That boy left the religion. He wasn't interested to learn anymore. Now he put an X on all the religious people. Everyone who tried to bring him back, he hates them. Why? Because of that fool. One comment. I told you once the story, one guy came and said, I'm sure my wife is cheating on me. So I told him, you have proof? He said, no, I checked the record, I checked everything I checked. I can't find, no proofs. I said, so what makes you think so? So when we got married for a few months, we were mamash like a magnet. All day, all night, we all the time together. Honey, darling, sweetie, darling, hi. Oh, wow, 5 minutes without you, what a hard day. Now, he doesn't even pick up my phone. He cannot look at me. Everywhere, So he's telling me now that she's avoiding him all the time. No matter what he's trying to do, I'm sick. I don't know, I have migraine, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, I'm depressed, leave me alone. Wow, what's going on? So he's sure. So I told him, I have another idea. Let me ask you a question. Did you tell your wife recently, you say the problem started like 2 months ago, did you tell her maybe 2 months ago that she gained weight? I said, yeah, she gained weight. Told her, your marriage is over. What? From this? So yeah, she lost all her confidence. You understand what a woman is? To build her confidence is harder than to build the new Twin Towers. To knock it down, one Arab with a plane, 2 minutes is down. To destroy their confidence and your marriage takes 1 sentence. To rebuild it, 20 years you will have to make lies and stories and flowers and this and that. Maybe you get it out of her system. Most likely it will never come out. Why? You already told her the truth. What do you think? So I told her, no, not cheating, not nothing. You just made a big mistake. Ignorant mistake. If you learn Torah, if you know what's the psychology of a woman before you got married, your marriage will be wonderful. Since you are ignorant, you're not learning, one mistake destroyed your marriage. Poor guy realized. Before that, he would never ever know that that's the reason. He continued to blame her, and in the end divorce her, and the kids become miserable. For what? For nothing. She never did anything wrong. It's all his fault. But of course, he's going to tell everyone, the cousins, the uncles, she was cheating, she was doing. Then he comes to Olam Haba. Hashem said, what cheating? Poor innocent woman, mothers, never looked around. I made her such a bad reputation all over. She could never get remarried. Why? Because of his Lashon Hara. In the end, it was wrong. It was all his fault. Just giving you one example. How the sin can travel. Anyway, this is to cover. Someone asked me, say that the children today, there's no way even to talk to them. You have to understand, today, some people think, I don't have internet in my home, or I lack it. Every little kid has an iPad that he buys for $100, and Hashem Yirachem what they have on it. It's like a regular laptop. Anywhere they go to any dirty place in 1 minute. And one day like this, with this in your hand, that's it. What they learn in one day will take you 20 years to correct. It's very difficult. You have to be a bodyguard. You always have to know what he does. The truth is, there's no hocus pocus. Besides speaking to them and begging them and teaching them and musar and investing, anything you want to do, it's still no guarantee. All you have to do is to cry to Hashem every day with tears, protect my children in a zoo. The world is a dangerous zoo. There are mamash people that are actually atomic bombs walking around. If they hit your son, they destroy him. That's it. Why? They teach him few bad things that over there. No, now you expect him to learn after what he saw. All his mind is over there in the scenes. Then all of a sudden you see his clothes starting to change. Every day he looks a little bit more like a goy. Then the kippah becomes smaller. Those are the first symptoms. He doesn't tell you right away, I'm not interested to sit with you and keep Shabbat. All of a sudden you see he comes home, all these shirts from the village. All these big leathers, tight shirts, tight pants. The shoes starting to change. The front looks like a sword. Goes up like a Robinson Crusoe, special shoes. All of a sudden the blorit, Hawaii 5-0. You remember that, Hawaii? The blorit that he had? All of a sudden it goes up. Then you tell him, I want you to take a haircut. He lays on the floor, scream, no! And you have no idea already what this boy is seeing. Not to talk about pills and all the other things. So really, what's the solution? Just to beg Hashem. Because this is more powerful than following around 24 hours a day and see what he does. Right? This is it. So far about what we spoke, I saw somebody wanted to ask a question. Any question about this? About alcohol, drugs, and gambling? Or it's all clear? Do you agree with what I say, or you disagree? It's hard to tell from your faces. Everything was true or no?
How long Noah was been drinking?
One time, that's it, that night. One time and the disaster happened already. Because the Torah says, Vayita, he planted the grape tree. And let's say how long it takes for it to grow, let's say a few weeks. For the first grapes who came, that's what happened to him. He made wine, and he drank, and the rest is history.
After how many years he drank?
After how many years?
Yeah.
And what age in his life, you mean?
Yeah, what age in his life?
What age was he in the Torah? I'm not sure. I have to check in the parasha if it says what age was he. But probably a few 100 years old already. Yeah, no, because Noach lived very long life. Adam lived 930 years. Methuselah lived 969 years. That's the longest life recorded. Recorded in Torah, 969 years. People ask today, how come in the old days people lived hundreds of years? Today, if you live 120, that's a record. Right? The Guinness Book of Records, the oldest person, 112, 109, 115. That's it, the maximum you see. You don't see really more than that. So what is it? Because the test of the people became shorter and shorter. What is it like? A teacher teaches class Gemara, and he gives them 100 questions. And every time, you see, they're failing. It's too much for them to learn. So he made it 90. No, still failing. 70, still failing. 20, no, 2 people passed the test. Short life. The longer it is, the bigger risk to make sins. It depends who you are. I always say, people that are righteous, it's worth it for them to live. People that are wicked, every day they live, it's so expensive. When they get the bill, they'll go crazy. What? For these stupid things that I did, now I have to pay so much? They'll scream to Hashem, why didn't you kill me when I was 18? It's not fair. So the answer will be, why you look at the negative side? All this life I gave you, you could have earned trillions of merits. Just because you're a fool, you're blaming me for giving you life? Right or wrong? That's it. It's all the choice of a person. What does he want to do? Now, let me tell you a few more things that will interest you very much. In Shulchan Aruch, it says like this. Some people, it's called menudeh. Cherem. You heard the word cherem? Cherem is like you put in heaven, your status changed from a normal person to an isolated person. You are isolated. In Shamayim. It's called menudeh la Shamayim. How a person become menudeh? A person become menudeh when the Beis Din writes psak halacha that this person is in cherem, in nidui. What's the outcome now? What's going to happen? First thing, you're not allowed to stand around him in a radius of 4 steps, 4 amot, 2 meters, 6 feet around him. If this fan is the person, that's the closest I can get to him. I cannot go too close to him. I cannot shake his hand. I cannot talk to him. I cannot sit around him. If he sits in a place, everyone has to move away from him. He cannot be counted as 10 of the minyan. It doesn't count. So basically his life is over until the Beit Din release him from this curse, this isolation, which is called cherem. En ochlim v'shotim imo. It's halacha in Shulchan Aruch I'm reading you. Where is it exactly? Shulchan Aruch, Yoreh De'ah, Siman Shin Lamed Dalet, 334. Over there, here is the source. En ochlim v'shotim imo. Let's say there's a wedding, and he comes and he wants to sit in your table. Yeah, you must get up and run away. Cannot sit with him in a table. You cannot make zimun with him. Nothing. When has a person become in cherem? When, for instance, he turns a Jew into the goyim. He goes to the IRS. And he say he has a competition, he sells gold, and somebody opened across the street. It's not fair what the person did. It's not fair. You open right across the street. Supposedly he thinks you're taking away his parnasah, he's leaving. But take a revenge by telling the goyim, oh, I know that he's cheating, or he doesn't report what he made, or he stole, or he bought stolen goods. Whatever, he did something wrong, I'm not saying. But going to tell on him to the authorities that they arrest him or take him to court or whatever the case is, and obviously you benefit from it, or even if it's just strictly revenge, then it's called moser. A person like this has these rules apply on him. If they find him guilty, right away. When else? 1,000 years ago, the chief Ashkenazi rabbi of the entire Europe was Rabbeinu Gershom. Ma'or HaGolah, the light of the exile, they call him. You can see his name in a Gemara, commentaries on a Gemara. It was before Rashi a little bit. And he made a cherem. He made a cherem. It's like a special curse, a special deen, judgment. What is it? That an Ashkenazi person will not be able to marry more than one woman, since he's the rabbi of all Europe. So he made that cherem, that anyone who will marry another woman besides his wife automatically have all these rules that I mentioned now apply to him. Cannot sit with him, cannot do business with him, cannot shake his hand, nothing. Right away he's in complete isolation. The Sfaradim Jews that lives in the Arab countries, it wasn't the rabbi. The Torah says everyone has to have his Rav. He is the chief Rav there. The Sfaradim have their own chief Rav. So Sfaradim still follow what the Torah said. The Torah allowed to have more than one wife. Why he decided to make such a cherem? Because he saw the disaster, how people behave. This was 1,000 years ago. If he lived today, he would make the cherem that no one is allowed to get married at all. I have no doubt about it. But he's not around. But at that time, how they treated the extra wife or the previous wife once they took a new one, it's already, they saw that people are not respectable enough to give the right treatment to both wives, or either that it create competition between the whatever the case was. Person could not fulfill his obligations in a ketuvah to two families. Because of that, he made that cherem. No, beseder. Now, not that many people know that he made another cherem. That cherem is very famous. Why? Everywhere you go, you hear about it. What's the other cherem that he made? He says that if a person push his nose to other people's business, also deserve to be put in cherem and nidui. What does it mean to push your nose into other people's business? To read their mail. Which means a person gave you a letter to give to that person. Oh, you're going there? Give him this envelope. You're a curious person. You're dying to know what's inside. So what do? You open the envelope, you read the letter inside, and then you put it in a new envelope and you give it. In the end, you delivered. But he never gave you permission. It was personal. So since you open your neighbor's mail, or your neighbor received this bank statement and you're dying to know, you're already 10 years neighbors with him, this guy is pretending that he's poor. I have to find out how many millions he's hiding there. So in the middle of the night you come, you see, the bank statement is here. You open it a little bit. No, Baruch Hashem, he's poor. No reason to suffer. I can relax now. Things like this. Automatically, in Shamayim, this person is being put in cherem. People don't know it. So, what other sins a person does when he does it? Even if the person who gave him the letter is not a rabbi, he cannot put him in cherem. He's not capable of taking a person and putting him in cherem. You need a big rav to do it. Doesn't matter. The actual act, automatically you put yourself in such situation in Shamayim, because Hashem is watching. What other sin, what other violations from the Torah a person does by doing it? Today, it's not only letters. It's to listen to other people's phone calls. Let's say someone came and he speaks in your house and you go upstairs and you listen. It's very common. Right now, if it's your children, they're into something, and you worry about their neshama, their soul, it's a mitzvah to listen to them. It's not, hey, what are you doing? You're listening to other people. It's my son, I want to save his eternity. Who knows where he's going now? That's a different story. But somebody else, you want to know what he said to his fiancée, they're planning the wedding, and you go up, wow, it's going to be over there. I'm the first one who knows. Tomorrow it's all over the internet, all this gossip. So what sins he does from the Torah? Who knows? First, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, right? You wouldn't want him to do the same to you. So it's right there, a sin from the Torah. Man desaneh alech lo ta'aseh lechavercha. The Gemara says, what you hate people doing to you, never dare to do to others. What other sin? Lo telech rachil be'amecha. Don't be a gossiper, gossip all day. Like a yenta. You know, the Chafetz Chaim, one time he had, an hour before Shabbat, he wanted to pass a message in town. Now, they remember, there was no internet, no Facebook, no electronic, no telephones, no nothing. How 1 hour before Shabbat or 2 hours before Shabbat, everyone in town will know the rules. He called his wife, 2 friends, 2 ladies, 2 old ladies came, say, I'm warning you, I'm telling you now a secret, make sure nobody knows it. Be careful, okay? He told them what he wanted everyone to know. By the beginning of Shabbat, everyone in town, you heard what happened? But don't tell anyone. You heard what happened? But don't tell anyone. The mission accomplished. So, how a person comes out of a cherem? He needs a Torah, like we do Hatarat Nedarim. He needs the Beit Din to sit and untie, open up, dismiss the cherem. As long as it wasn't done, it's still in cherem. The Rama, one of the main poskim in Shulchan, is a commentary on Shulchan Aruch, a chief Ashkenaz rabbi 500 years ago, he writes, someone who made a sin not intentionally. He looked in his friend's letter, but he didn't know it's a big sin. He didn't know. I thought, what's the big deal? Anyway, he doesn't know. What's the big deal? He didn't know, but now he's supposed to be in isolation. So he says, he doesn't need a Torah unless if he got one warning before. If somebody that saw him doing it told him, it's not allowed to do, or he heard it in a lecture, or he learned about it in yeshiva, and he did it anyway, that's called, they warn him. They gave him a warning. You're not allowed to do what you do. You should be in cherem. Be careful. So if he never got the warning, we assume that he didn't know it. So he doesn't need the Beit Din to dismiss it. But if he knew and he does it, he cannot get out of his status until the Beit Din sin and cancel it. Also, I was saying before about a person that insulted his friend while he was drunk. So the next day he says to him, I'm sorry, it wasn't me. It was the alcohol. I didn't know what I'm doing. He has to go in front of all the people and ask him to apologize to him. And a public apology, even though he wasn't aware of what he's doing. Why? Because you're still guilty because of the reason I say that you put yourself in that situation. The Gemara say in Masechet Psachim, 3 things, en baem me'ilah. 3 things, you don't have me'ilah in them. What does it mean me'ilah with ayin? Me'ilah means that you take something that belongs to Bet HaMikdash and you use it for your private use. Which means, a person, let's say your neighbor has a sheep, a goat, and he say, that sheep I sanctify to Bet HaMikdash. Here, my donation to Bet HaMikdash. He puts a mark on it, like a ring or a color. And this sheep is holy. It's not touching it anymore. It's not mine anymore. Why? That's the power of words. When you speak in a holy language, what we call Hebrew today, one sentence can change the status of the whole world. One sentence can change the status of a woman for the rest of her life. You told her, Areat Mekudeshet li. You told her, I sanctify you to be my wife. And she said, okay, finished. No man can ever touch her for the rest of her life until you release her from yourself by giving her a get. Nobody, that's it. The whole life, she's stuck now. She cannot do anything. What happened if you're a cruel person? One sentence destroy the whole life. No children, she died lonely, everything. The power of words. It's not a joke. If a person say, if he has 1,000 cows, 1,000 cows, each cow $5,000. And he say on one of them, this is holy to Bet HaMikdash. And before he realized, his wife called him, Moshe, you have a phone call. He turns around, and that cow got mixed. Before he put a mark on it. All the 5,000 cows are holy now. Cannot touch them. Cannot eat them, you cannot sell them, your business is gone. Why? You don't know which one. Maybe this is holy. Or you're not allowed to touch it. It belongs to Hashem, to Bet HaMikdash only. That's called me'ilah. Using something that was sanctified by you or by somebody else to Bet HaMikdash. Okay, no, why do I tell you this? The Gemara says like this. 3 things, if you do it, is not considered me'ilah. What are they? Voice, call, noise, mar'eh, images, looking, and smelling, and smell. What does it mean? If there is perfume that belongs to Bet HaMikdash, this person say, I donate this perfume to Bet HaMikdash. What the Bet HaMikdash needs perfume for? They don't need. They sell it in the auction. With the money, they maintain Bet HaMikdash. That's called the Gizbar. The treasury of Bet HaMikdash, he has a fund. People give donation, and they buy oil. They do things with that. They pay for construction if they need. Listen good now. So it says, if you smell that perfume, it's right here. You go too close to it, you smell. So it's now you're using something that belongs to Bet HaMikdash. I say no. It's not a sin. Why? Smelling. Voice. Something that belongs to Bet HaMikdash makes beautiful noise, music, whatever. It's not considered enjoying it, stealing from it. And seeing, let's see this Picasso picture somebody donates to Bet HaMikdash, you stand, wow, it's relaxing, it's beautiful, you're enjoying from something that belongs to Bet HaMikdash. And the Gemara says it's not physical pleasure. Me'ilah means physical pleasure you got out of it. This is a spiritual pleasure. What are the spiritual pleasure of the soul? Noise, music, talking, Torah, words. It's not real. You cannot steal it. Seeing something, like art or anything like that, enjoying it, the beauty of something, and smelling. And this is actually what we do in Havdalah, if you really realize. Because in Shabbat we have an extra soul coming in. Motzei Shabbat, the soul leaves. So what do we do in Havdalah? Bore Priya Gefen, mouth. Bore Mine Besamim, nose, smelling. Right? Mouth, speaking. Smelling. Bore Meore Ha'esh, looking. And it starts mouth, nose, and eyes. Not in a wrong order. Why? That the wick will go from the bottom to the top. Will rise. We will rise. If we had 1 million, it will be 1.5 million by the end of the week. Not the other way around. If we had 1 house, maybe we have another house. If we learn 2 pages of Gemara, now we learn 4. Rising. But this is things that connects to the soul. You got the point? The mouth, the nose, and the eyes. In Gan Eden, heaven, I once saw in a Kabbalah that there is 2 different heavens. Heavens that relates to the nose, heaven relates to the eyes. Because the eyes, it's a higher spiritual level than smelling. Even though smell is great for the soul. Bad smell is bad for the soul. Smelling, it's like a food for the soul. Seeing beautiful colors, it's beautiful. Hearing music, it's food for the soul, not for the body. When you hear music, the body does not enjoy from the music at all. Like food. Food, the body enjoy. You enjoy the taste, the stomach, it makes you not hungry. So you have physical pleasure. But smelling, it's a spiritual pleasure or damage. If you smell bad smells. Also seeing things, it can either destroy your soul or can elevate your soul. That's why when they raise the Sefer Torah in Shabbat, it's mitzvah to come very close to the ladders, as close as possible, and look at the cloth, because there's holiness in it. It's affecting your soul. It's affecting the soul. Get as close as possible, and etc., etc. Now we have another question here to ask. Sometimes a person is tonight, let's say before the night, is 12 years old. Tonight, it's a new day, when the stars appear, he become bar mitzvah. What happened now? if a person started something before bar mitzvah, and now he became bar mitzvah. I give you an example. Let's say he ate and he made birkat hamazon 1 hour before sunset, half an hour before. Let's say sunset today was 6:20, 6:10 he made birkat hamazon. It's full now. He made birkat hamazon, finished. 20-30 minutes later, now officially become 13. Does he have to say birkat hamazon again or not? Well, what's the question? Up to now, before his bar mitzvah, every mitzvah he does, his obligation is from the Torah or from the rabbis. It's not bar mitzvah yet. When you officially become a man, that you become obligated to keep all the mitzvot of the Torah, when you become bar mitzvah. Before that, you're a kid, it's all education. Chachamim made you do it since you're 6 years old to get you used to it. So you get used to it. You make brachot, you teach them about emunah, you teach them to read, to learn Torah. Why? Once they enter bar mitzvah, it's easy for them. It's a system. But up to now, the sins and not making mitzvot wasn't like us when we older, adults. So since he had an obligation to do birkat hamazon only from the Rabbanan, now since he's still full, his obligation went to a higher level. It's now from God directly, not from the rabbis. And we have a rule, an obligation from the Rabbanan cannot dismiss an obligation from Hashem. Which means, let me give you an example. Let's say, I have to do birkat hamazon from the Torah. It's my obligation. But my little boy, he only has to do it from the Rabbanan. He's not obligated from the Torah. He wants to make birkat hamazon, and I hear to him and say amen, and he makes for me and for him. He cannot dismiss my obligation, because his obligation is on a lower level. Lower level cannot dismiss a higher level. I can dismiss him, he cannot dismiss me. Some mitzvot that the woman is not obligated from the Torah, they cannot do for the men, unless if they're already also obligated. So we have an example here now. Since before his obligation was from the rabbis, now he has an obligation from the Torah. Before, from the Torah, he wasn't obligated. Does he have to do birkat hamazon again? Give another example. What happened if the boy, 2 hours before he became bar mitzvah, he was a witness of a crime? He saw Reuven killing Shimon. By the time he comes to court, it's only the next day, now he became bar mitzvah. Can they use him as a witness or not? Because yesterday when he saw it, it was still not bar mitzvah. A kid cannot be a witness in court. But now when he comes, he's an adult already. That's it, he's 13 years old, he's a man. 100%. Can get married if he wants. In the old days, they used to get married in these ages. You're smiling here. I remember 40, 50 years ago, old ladies in Israel that came from all Middle Eastern countries, or even from Ashkenaz, they were getting married at age 12. Age 12. 13, 14, they already had kids. It was nothing out of the ordinary. You see, all of you young, it looks to you like a dream. I'm a little bit older. Not that much, but a little bit older. When I was your age, I saw all these old ladies that had many kids, and they started to have kids when they themselves they were kids. But a 13 years old girl then, 40, 50 years ago, was like a 45 years old girl today in her mentality. There's no Facebook all day. And they didn't have all the fashion show on the street every day. They used to wear one blanket all day and finished. That was life. I remember the old ladies in the neighborhood, how they all used to be. Handkerchief on their head, sitting in the neighborhood, reading, those who know how to read Tehillim, they all day talking, that's it. What do? Raise children. They do laundry to the diapers. And there was no laundry machine, no dryer, no washer, none of these things. You put water with some soap. If you see the soap, you don't want to wear these clothes. How the soap look, all this. It's horrible. And they used to do it with hands. And when they wanted to make bread, there was a donkey over there with a stone. They put weed, they make flour, and they begin to make bread. You go today, $2, throw it in a car, you have bread. Everything ready today. Order in. Right? And they were much happier than the girls today. I don't remember any of them was in depression. They're alive. Why? The more spoiled we become, the more we suffer from our life. That's it. And this is the way Hashem wanted it. To show us this lifestyle I'm not happy with. Adam la'amal yulad. What other example we can give about the boy? What happened if he started to do Sfirat HaOmer? It's 49 days. And in the middle he became Bar Mitzvah. Up to now, it was from the Rabbanan. Now it became a different obligation. Can he continue with bracha, or it's half a mitzvah now? You don't make a bracha on half a mitzvah. You don't make. You either do the whole mitzvah, or you miss the mitzvah. There are many things to learn in the Torah. This is just to give you an idea how many questions. I can give you 1,000 questions like this. Each one of them, it's a whole day of learning. Bring a proof from here, proof from there, contradiction, how do you know? Proof from here, proof from there. He gives you another. This is like a court case. And this is how it goes. You know, let me ask you a question. One woman in Bnei Brak, they have a store, they sell all the silver menorahs, silverware. And they have one store that is very fancy. They have millions of dollars merchandise there. Big store, fancy. So one woman comes with a baby inside to the store, and she tells the saleswoman, show me the biggest and the most expensive silver menorah that you have in the store. She showed her a silver menorah. You can hardly pick it up. It's so heavy and big. You put it on the floor, it reaches your head. 50,000 shekel, like $10,000 almost in those days. Expensive, heavy. So she said, my husband is double park. Hold my baby for 2 minutes. Let me show it to my husband in a car. If he gives me the okay, I'll buy it. So the woman, the saleswoman, it's Israel. It's all like one little tiny neighborhood over there, the mentality. So the saleswomen are holding the baby. How are you, darling? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The woman is not returning. So she looks outside. She sees a woman standing, a different woman standing in the street, screaming, crying, people giving her water. What happened, ma'am? My baby was in a crib. Somebody kidnapped him. Did anybody see the baby? Call the police. So she said, excuse me, by any chance this is your baby? Yeah, worry. How did it get to you? So she says, somebody fooled me. When he took your baby from the crib. He came into the store, he gave me the baby. I hope I'm not giving anybody ideas here. She gave her the baby, and she's still standing until today over there with the baby, waiting for her to come back. Why do I tell you this story? The owner of the store came back from, let's say, lunch break, and she tells him what happened. So it's your fault. You have to pay me for that. 50,000 shekel, you got to pay me. What? I'm working here, you want me to pay you? So they went to Beis Din, to Jewish court. What do you think was the ruling there? What's the verdict? She has to pay or not?
Yeah,
definitely. All of you say, yeah, definitely. Let me ask you one question. If the owner of the store was there, would he prevent her from giving her the menorah to show to her husband by her putting the baby? Would he suspect that it's a scam or no? So why the lady has to suffer for something he himself would do? It's not her fault. She didn't do anything intentional. So she wasn't obligated to pay. Now, I'll tell you a story. One Persian guy from Shiraz, city of Shiraz, he was a great cantor, singing in a shul, singing in weddings. The Persian, when they have a voice, they have a voice. You can't fake their voice. It's 1 to 1,000,000 has special voice. They know how to sing. It's really a profession. So that Jew became famous. Everybody already, the Goyim also know that this Jew knows how to sing. One time, the Iranian Shah, the story is more than 40 years ago, has a party, invite all the important people from the Iranian government, and he sent one of his servants to his house to invite him personally to come sing for the king. So he wasn't home, so he came to his father. He lived with his father. He was a young man in those days, in his 20s. So he said to the father, tell your son, and that day he has to come to the palace of the king, and he has a show there. He has to sing. There's going to be a large audience. It's a party of the king. The poor father, right away, ran to the calendar. Tough luck. Erev Tisha B'Av. The night of Tisha B'Av, the party. Now go mess with these fanatic people. What are you going to do now? What, you tell them we have a Jewish holiday? I don't want to come sing for you? It's dangerous not only for him, for the whole community. So all his friends told him, forget it. You must go and sing. It's life risk. All of us will get into trouble. They're going to find excuses to take more taxes, to close our business. It's a problem over there. You don't mess with them. He said, listen, I have a rabbi. I don't decide on my own things like this. Let me see what the Rav has to say. That's a true story that happened. This person still today lives in Israel. This Persian cantor is in Israel until this day, should be in his 60s. So he comes to the rabbi. The rabbi told him, hey, I know you have to go, but there's a way to do both. To go and not to violate Tisha B'Av. No, how? You go, he's also playing violin. And you play very sad music, much depressing music, and think about Bet HaMikdash, cry, count it as your keynote for Bet HaMikdash. Ignore the audience. You with your agony and mourning on the destruction of the temple. So now this poor Jew, he got very nervous. What advice this rabbi is giving me? Better not to go, to say I was sick, to fake something, to go lay down in a hospital. Maybe they buy it, than to come in their face and cry like this when they're all drunk and happy. You say, you know what? My rabbis in yeshiva taught me one rule. Whatever the rabbi told you, trust that Hashem has his own supervision on this psak. Let me go and do it. Whatever happens, it's in the hands of Hashem. He comes over there, all the singer before, dancing, all the Persian people dance. Then the Jew arrived. Said, sing. He goes like this. Al Neharot Bavel. He sings Echa from the Megillat Echa. He begins to cry about Bet HaMikdash with a sad violin. All the Muslims, they go crazy. So what? He came to destroy our party. But nobody makes a beep. Why? They look at him. The Jew is crying, and the king is crying. He takes a handkerchief. He cleans his eyes like this. The Jew and the king, they're both crying like this for 20 minutes. By the end of the Megillat Echa, the king got up. He's all touched. He comes to him. He gave him a hug. He kissed him on his head. He said, this is the first time that a singer came to my parties that I felt that he took my heart out. I'm so emotional now. Everybody comes, they make noise here. But this was very spiritual music. Wait here. Wait here, don't move. He went, he got a bag full of money. He said, this is for you. He was supposed to pay him for one show. He gave him enough money for the whole year. I was so happy. So in the end, Hashem turned around. He knew the style of this king. He liked this kind of music. Nobody ever dared to come sing him sense. Everyone makes noise. It's not his style. He liked sad music. The Jew plays sad music. In the end, he was mourning for Bet HaMikdash and made more money than all of them together. This is what happened when you listen to it. It's called Da'at Torah. Da'at Torah. Before we finished, it says like this. The Gemara says, Rav Papa was climbing on the stairs, going up the stairs, and the stairs broke. You know how dangerous it is. If you climb on wood steps and one of them breaks, there's becoming a hole. You fall inside, there's nails, very dangerous. Baruch Hashem, he didn't get hurt, almost. But a Jew, that every second of his life is connected to Hashem like a strong magnet, he doesn't say, Baruch Hashem, Hashem saves me, yalla, let's go back to business. Right away, he's making an investigation. What is the message here? What is Hashem sending me? Why it broke? 20 years I walked these stairs, and it never broke. It broke now, and who knows, I could almost cut my face, I can fall, break my back. It's very dangerous, no? What is the message? So, he was thinking, he cannot come up with the answer. So he went to Rav Chia. And Rav Chia told him, maybe a poor person came to you for tzedakah and you did not give him, or maybe you didn't give him enough. Why? He says to him. He said, Rabbi, how did you come up with this answer? It could be a million different things. Why this? So he told him, who fell and dies? Someone that's supposed to be put to death in a Jewish court by stoning. So today, since we don't have Bet HaMikdash, the Torah taught us, when there is Bet HaMikdash, the court execute people by stoning. When there's no Bet HaMikdash, the punishment of stoning cannot take action, cannot happen. So what's the replacement for it? The Gemara say, person fell from a roof, a bad animal runs and hit him, a tree fell on his head. In our time, it's car accidents or falling from the third floor. It's called stoning. Get hit by any object, boom, and you die. That's like instead of getting stoned. No. So he says, who gets stoning? Mechalel Shabbat and Oved Avodah Zarah. Someone who bow down to idols or worship any idol. They are equal. Mechalel Shabbat and Oved Avodah Zarah in the Torah always come together. And the same punishment, the same level of sin. To be Mechalel Shabbat, I have no doubt that you are not. To be an idol worshipper, I have no doubt that you are not. But the Torah taught us that somebody who doesn't give money to the poor person who begs for tzedakah, charity, is equal like, not 100%, but it's like someone who worshipping an idol. And that's probably what you did. And that was the truth. He told him exactly what happened. So they asked the Gaon Mivilna. Gaon Mivilna lived 250 years ago. He was an amazing genius. Whenever you say HaGaon, the genius, you don't have to say HaGaon Mivilna. Or Rabbi Eliyahu. No, you don't have to say. His name was Kramer, the last name. Rabbi Eliyahu Kramer. You don't need to. You just say HaGaon, everybody knows who you're talking about. Because many genius. Well, when they say HaGaon, you know HaGaon Mivilna. He's an amazing person. There's hundreds of stories about his brilliance. So they ask him, how did he know that the stairs is the same thing like falling from a roof? Right? It could be maybe for different sin. So he told him, listen good. He told him like this. The Torah say, when Hashem told the Jews to be generous, to give tzedakah, how does the language in the Torah comes? It says, when the poor person come to you, patoach tiftach et yadcha. Patoach tiftach. Open, double. Patoach tiftach. Open your hand and be very generous to him. Give him everything he needs. And because of that, I'm going to bless you in everything you do. That's the language in the Torah. You don't need the rabbi's bracha for it. It's in the Torah. Direct blessing from Hashem. Here, mitzvah from the Torah. What do you need? Let me help you. You need this. You need a place to sleep. You need food. Tell me, I help you, fine. So this is the blessing. So the Torah says, patoach tiftach. Open your hands to him. That's what the expression is. Be generous. Open your hand and give him a lot. Don't give him a quarter or $1. Give him something for him to get what he needs, right? So the Gaon Mivilna say, we have te'amim in the Torah. Te'amim, right? when you read how the Chazan knows how to play the music, especially by the Sfaradim, the music is, you feel it more. All these things. Well, how the Chazan know in what word to begin to scream and to go up and to go down and to go How does he know? What is it? Mozart here? How do they know? So there are special signs above. You don't see it in the scroll. There's somebody stand next to him and he tells him. He makes signs to him. It goes like this, like this, like this. He tells him how to play the music while he's reading. So the Gaon Vilna says, it's beautiful. It says like this. Above the word Patoach Tiftach in the Torah, what sign the Torah has? It's called Darga Tavir in Aramaic. What's Darga? Stairs. Darga, Madregot in Hebrew. Madregot comes from the word Darga in Aramaic. It's stairs. Tavir means broken. Broken stairs. Why broken stairs? This is how it looks. Like E, but with another one, 3. Like you have to, that's how you have to read. Patoach tifta, like this. What's the secret here? That Hashem say, if you open, I'll bless you in everything you do. If you close, watch from the stairs. It's a matter of time until they break under your legs. Everything is connected. It's things that you don't pay attention to. No, Darga Tavir. So the Chazan goes like this. Why in this world and not in this world? This is how he knew. To answer him, you fell from the stairs? It's because of the Ani. Why? Because in the Torah it comes in the word, Patoach Tiftach. And in the end he told him, you're right. Maybe that's what happened. You understand? Everything, today it's very hard. Very hard. We have so many things we don't know. For what things Hashem is punishing me? For this, or for this, or for this, until tomorrow the list is going on. You don't know which one. Why Hashem doesn't tell us, when He punishes us, for which one of the sins He just paid us? Why He leaves it as a mystery? No, what do you think? This is what we say Hashem is merciful. That's the mercy of Hashem. If He would tell us, you know what you just got punished for? For saying a bad word to your wife 3 days ago. Oh, that's it for that? So now you have another million things. So what would you do? You come to her and say, darling, forgive me, I'm sorry, I should have not said it, I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, no problem. Make sure you don't insult me again. Give her a hug, a kiss, goodbye, it's over. No, so you take care of that problem. You made tshuva because Hashem told you. I'm very upset for the way you said it. But what about all the other million things that you have pending? No punishment yet. Now, you don't know which one for what. You just lost $100. I had $100. Now I need it in a store. It's gone. Fell from my pocket, in a car. You look, in a bar. You don't know. Gone. Somebody robbed you. You don't know what happened now. No, all day I'm working for $100. In 1 second it's gone. You eat your heart. No. So now you begin to think, why is it? Is that because a year ago I also stole from someone $100? Maybe from that. Is that because my kids begging me to help them, to buy them something, and I'm being stingy and I didn't do it? Maybe Hashem took it away from me to wake me up? Is that because I'm not buying my wife a gift for Yom Tov? Is that because I speak Lashon Hara? Is that because on Shabbat I was cheap? I was trying to save electric and I looked around and I went like this to the... What? Or I took the baby and said, come darling, look how beautiful is this shelter here. Look at this, Why is it? There's 5,000 options. Since you do not know which one Hashem punished you for, so you try to correct each one of them. So with one punishment, you just corrected 5,000 sins. But if you know which one it belongs to, you only correct that one. Now you're going to need another punishment, and another one, because that's the only way people understand. When do they understand? You tell the little kid, don't touch the electric, it's dangerous. Don't take the needle and push it in. A minute later, he does the same thing. When does the baby understand not to mess with the electric? When you give him one on his hand, no, psh, For 5 hours he screams. That's it. You don't have to check anymore. What got him to understand? The next time I touch, the pain will arrive. I don't want to get pain. This language everybody understands. You know, when they try to prove not to make an abortion, so they prove that the baby in the 3rd month of the pregnancy is a complete human being. He tastes, he has feelings, he has memory, everything, pulse, everything. Ooh. So, the Gemara says, why we have thunders? Why we have thunders? ליישר את העקמומיות שבלב. To take the crooked heart that we have from all the sins and make it straight. Why? A person hear it, oh, Hashem is angry at the world. That's right away, it's in psychology, oh, God is angry. Especially when you see the lightning, you know, wow. Why do you see first the lightning and only 5 minutes later you hear the explosion? When in reality, they started in the same time. What the electric, the pressure in heaven that created that fire also made an explosion. But the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers a second. 300,000. And the speed of the noise, the voice, is only 300 meters a second. 300 meters, which is like 300 yards in a second. So it's 1,000 times faster, the speed of light. So if it happened in a tenth of a second, you already see the light. Tenth of a second, because it's so fast that no matter where it happened above you, right the way you see it. But you only hear a few minutes the voice that was sent, but it's so slow until it gets to you. So it looks like two different things. But when do you know that it's hitting in your area? Like now outside, the lightning hit this neighborhood. Why? The light and the thunder came in a manner of a second, one after the other. That's when the life is in danger, especially if you're wet, it's raining, and you stand on a roof of a building. That's very dangerous. Why? Because the lightning always goes to a higher target. And if a person is wet and is standing on a roof, he can electrocute him in a second. But how do you know if it's in your area? If the lightning and the thunder is in the same second, that means it's so close to your area that there's no traveling time, because it's right here. So you see it right away. The Gemara say, what's the solution? You know Franklin, Benjamin Franklin? I think he's on $100 bill, no? Yeah. Many people think he used to be the president of the United States, but he wasn't. He was a politician, he was a famous politician, he was also a scientist, but he wasn't the president of the United States. He lived like more than 200 years ago, in the 1700s. So he's the one who found that if you put metal in a higher points in a neighborhood, the lightning will go to that target, and it will save all the people in the area. But that's a lie. Yes, he maybe discovered it in modern science, but the Gemara already spoke about it 1,700 years before he was born. It's right there in the Mishnah. What does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah say all the Jews have sheep in the old days. Every house you had sheep, you know. Today you have a nice house in Great Neck. Where are you going to put the sheep? It's a problem. But you know, in the old days, all the houses look like, you know how. You know, you took a bunch of trees, you made yourself a house. You have sheep coming in, chicken jump on you when you sleep. That's what the house look like. You know, the bathroom of the goat here, the bathroom of the horse is here. That's how life was. So the Gemara say, if there is a sin to imitate the goyim in their magics, their black magics that they do, they have all kinds of kishufim. How do you say kishuf? Witchcraft? How do you say kishuf in English? It's like a black magic. They make all kinds of kishufim. These kishufim come from the impurity power. So the Gemara say, someone who puts metal, when the sheep becoming pregnant, they take a piece of metal and they stick it where the sheep is, because this is what the Amori is doing. Amori was one of the 7 nations that Hashem kicked out of Israel when the Jews came. There were 7 empires there. The Girgashi, a Yevusi, a Prizi, a Knaani. So the Amori was a very filthy nation, full of idols worshipping and all kinds of witchcraft and black magic. So, and they have all these idols. So Hashem said, get rid of them. I don't want to see them in the Holy Land anymore. Destroyed everything they ever built and did from the roots. Dig it from the roots and destroy it. Don't leave any memory. So the Gemara says, if the Jewish shepherd is putting that medal because he's using the same tricks that they're doing, because it multiplies the sheep much faster, and money it's business, instead of 200 goats, by the end of the month he's going to have 400. Because this is making some kind of speed process that they give birth faster and more are born. It's something that's like a black magic, as a kishuf. So this is a sin from the Torah. The Torah says, "Lo ta'aseh kema'aseh ha'emori." You cannot pretend. You cannot imitate all these things that this goyim used to do, all these idols and all these worshippers. You cannot do it. But if he puts it there to protect the sheep from the lightning, it's perfectly fine. 2,000 years ago, before Franklin, nobody gives credit to the Gemara. You know why? I have no idea what the Gemara is. So finally, 1,700 years later, some guy come and say, if you put a medal, it's protecting the animals. They won't die. The lightning won't burn them. It will go on a medal. If you put it high above them, right away, they're all protected. You understand? This is it. I think we're done. If you have any questions, what time is it?
If you had a Jewish friend? If you had a Jewish friend?
Who?
Franklin.
Oh, I tell you something else. Louis Pasteur, he pasteurized the milk, right? He invented, thanks to him, we can buy milk. It's less for a week, no? Without pasteurizing it, 3-4 hours later, it's spoiled. Especially in the Middle East, when there was no refrigerator 200 years ago, 100 years ago. So he invented 2 things. One is to pasteurize the milk, 80 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees, it's boiling, Celsius. So if you heat it to 80 degrees, it's enough. You don't need to go to boiling. It doesn't need to bubble. 80 degrees already kill all the germs. And when there's no germs, the milk can stay for a longer time, right? And also he supposedly invented a medicine for rabies. When the dogs are sick, it's very dangerous, it's a life risk. Those 2 medicines that he supposedly invented are in the Gemara. And he was a Jew, his name was Chaim. And he had a rabbi in Paris that shows them these Gemarot. And the rabbi wrote in his book that he was teaching him. 100 years ago, I think he lived, 100 years ago, in the beginning of the previous century. So he said that he spoke to him about those 2 subjects. He was a scientist already. After he read it in a Talmud, he started to investigate and do his research, and he found what he found. But he already had 90% are done for him. Because the Gemara gave 5 signs that a dog with rabies have. 5 signs. And the Gemara says, what's the medicine for a person that was bit by a dog with this disease? You're giving him from the liver of that dog. How you give a Jew the liver of a dog? It's worse than pork. You can eat the liver of a dog. Dog is the filthiest animal. And there's a curse in a house to have a dog in your living room. The Torah says it's one of the 3 cursed animals. The crow, the snake, and the dog. If you want to put the dog in a backyard, it's fine, no problem. But the Gemara says, raising a dog in your house is like raising a pig. No difference, the Gemara says. So, of course, not if you fall in love with this dog and kiss him and hug him and take pictures with him and he sleep in your bed. Then you have to ask yourself, what are you doing here in this life? That's already another issue already. Now we have to first address that issue. But, either way, the Gemara say, you take from the liver of the same dog, from there the medicine comes. No? So that's what he did. He found that you take germs, the same thing, but you make them weaker, and you re-inject it into the body, and that's the vaccine. But, what are the 5 signs that the Gemara gave? Saliva is dripping from his mouth. his ears falling down, his tail that usually is going straight or up, going down in between his legs. He walk crooked, his front legs going to the right, his back legs go to the left, and he always go in the side of the road, attached to the wall. If there's a walls on both sides of the road, you never see him walking in them. He goes in the side, crooked, attached to the wall. His ears are down, drops are falling from his mouth, and his tail is down. 5 signs. 2,000 years ago, what's the cure? Come from his liver. Torah is wider than the ocean. The more we learn, the more fascinated we become from the brilliance of Hashem. Thank you, Levi. We'll see you next Monday. Bezrat Hashem. Good night.